The U.S. Patent Office on Wednesday ruled that the Washington Redskins nickname is disparaging of Native Americans and canceled the team's trademarks. The ruling means that 6 different trademarks using the word Redskin would no longer belong exclusively to the team and opens the possibility that other parties can use and profit from the name on items such as merchandise. It does not legally force, however, the team to change its name. Wednesday's ruling basically says that it was similar to the one in 1999, which was later overturned by a court on a technicality. The team will retain its trademarks during any appeal of this new decision. Stephen A., a lot to adjust in a short period of time. Your reaction, however?
Well, I think this is the first step in what will inevitably be the changing of the Redskins name as far as I'm concerned. I think there's going to be a groundswell of momentum that we continue to witness before our very eyes, and ultimately Daniel Snyder, no matter how dogmatic and, determined he is in keeping the name, I think ultimately he's going to find himself in a position where he's standing on an island all by himself, and it's going to be too uncomfortable to overcome. Again, I think that one of the mistakes that I do think people have made, however, and I won't deny the fact that Daniel Snyder to some degree has contributed to this, but I do believe one of the mistakes that people have made is like blaming him for it. This is a man that purchased the Redskins, that bought them for over $800 million, that it's a business. And, obviously the Redskins name and namesake had existed long before he ever arrived. And the groundswell of momentum wasn't prevalent at that particular moment in time. So I never blamed him per se for being an individual that wanted to hold on to the Redskins name. It's just that over time, he became a bit dismissive with some of his public sentiments, and I think that contributed to the momentum that is now clearly aimed against him. And when you have lawmakers on Capitol Hill doing it, and you have the United States Patent and Trademark Office now essentially officially against him, no matter which way you slice it, I think it's the beginning steps of an ultimate change in the Redskins name.
I agree with you. Beginning of the end of the use of the nickname Redskins. This was the first major official blow to using that nickname, a blow to the Redskins and to the National Football League. And I remind you, Stephen A., just in the last month, we've had several NFL officials support Dan Snyder for his dug-in stance that he wants to continue to use the nickname Redskins. The best reaction I've seen so far, the best insight, was from ESPN's Darren Rovell, who reported that, remember, the NFL splits revenue from team merchandise sales 31 different ways because the Cowboys have their own deal. I'm still not sure how Jerry Jones pulled that off, but he pulled it off. So the revenue is split 31 ways. And if the Redskins start losing money from losing their trademarks, then everybody, the other 30 teams that revenue share, will lose money. And all of a sudden, we put this in a whole different perspective because the NFL as a group will lose money because of what's happening with the nickname Redskins. So I think this, to me, again, maybe a lot of this is over my head, I'll be the first to admit, but it feels like the beginning of the end of the nickname Redskins.
Well, I mean, listen, based on what's transpiring before our very eyes, it needs to be. I mean, again, if it has been determined that this indeed is an ethnic, racial slur, whatever way you want to say it, it can't be ignored any longer. You can't have a billionaire owner associated with the National Football League, a league that, by the way, has taken stances against several things, including anybody that's homophobic or anything like that. We know how the league has responded to that as well. And so, you're not going to be able to ignore it or skirt around this. There's just no way that it's going to happen. It is what it is. And what Daniel Snyder needs to be in the process of doing is figuring out a way to change the name to something that will be just as popular as the Redskins and ultimately just as profitable.
Both you gentlemen.
And less offensive, of course.